Can do it too. Easy as 1, 2, 3. You can do it too. Come along and draw with me. Pads and pencils, a very good start. So when you draw with your heart. You draw with your heart, 'cause you can do it too. You can do it too. You can do it too.
Hi, my name is Lydia Forte-Santiago. Welcome to the show of You Could Do It Too. The last show we did a preliminary sketch of this young girl, and today in this show we're going to reinstate it more and more and more, so it looks more three-dimensional and it looks more realistic. So I showed you one of my art students' work, the nice 57 Studebaker that he did, and he did a little painting of. So if I could do it, he could do it, and if I could do it, you could do it. So again, let's get started. So here we are. Let's go back to focusing on her eyes. We're going to start. Now I'm going to press hard. Now again, like I told you in the last lesson, now I'm going to the point. I'm working with the point. Reinstating is the key. Shadowing is the key. Degradation of color is the key. Observation is the key. You put them all together and you come out with the drawing that you would like to have. So here I am going to darken, and I'm pressing back, forth, back, forth, back, forth, back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. How many times did I reinstate that? A lot. Now I'll do it in the other eye. Here we go. I look at the show. I have a little magnifying glass here, and I just look at the eye a little bit, and I bring it to follow the shape, and I back, forth, back, forth, back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. How many times did I do that? But now look, just look at the eye now. Now I'm going to go to the pupil, and I'm going to go again, back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. And again on the other side, like this. Now we go, and I do the other eye, back, forth. See, now the reason I'm telling you back and forth like this is because you're looking at this TV show, but you cannot see what I'm doing with my hand and with the pencil. So this is why I'm explaining to you. You just see me drawing, but what I'm doing is a motion of forward, backward, back, to get it intense. That's important. Do remember that. And now I go into the little pupil there, and there's a little white in the eye. And remember what I told you last lesson, on the top there's just a little bit of shadow, only because her eyelashes would be throwing that shadow in there, you know. And right in here I darken this too, because this is kind of the fold that we have in the eye of the lid. This is the lid, so you want to show that, and you want to bring that very pronounced. And there you, and then her lashes are there, so you want to make a few little lashes there. Yeah, you have to bring out the whole eye, you know, every part of it, you know, just to make it look real. You want it to look real. And then we could shadow in here, the sclera, could shadow it in there, like that. And now I come with this little point here. See the gum eraser? This is like very easy to work with. I just roll it up like this, if you could see. I make it like a little point, and then I could get in there to just lighten the part that's close to the pupil. But the outer part, I leave dark. And right in here in the corners, there's a little darkness there. Not much, it's sort of reddish. But this is, I'm doing a black and white, so you wouldn't be able to see that in color. So that looks a little better, right? And then I'm gonna go to her nose and kind of pronounce that, make this nose come out a little bit more. She has such a pretty nose. And make this a little darker. And right in here, there's always shadow underneath the nose and the sides. And right in here, too. There. And it's like a little round here. And then you could kind of, there's a light. And I kind of bring the light in here. And this face has a little bit of shadow here. So we're going to shadow that. Just to bring it out. Now in some places I go darker, like around the hairline here. This part, this is from the hair, so that would be darker. Now I come around and the size where the ear is. But the ear is there, so let's show it. So lighten that up. Lighten this side too, because the ear is there. And she got a little gold earring. You lighten that too. And here she has a nice little chin. So what we're doing in the first lesson, it was just like a preliminary drawing, but this time I'm just kind of making this come out more and let it be more intense. So there, you know, the neck. Always underneath the chin, you always have to put shadow, because what you do is you're actually making her neck, and by doing that you're making the face come out. So, and then blend it in. So this, just by doing this, her neck would come out. There's her ear, leave that ear. Here's that little bow, that ribbon there that we saw before that we were playing around with. And the little part of the ribbon there that you could see. So you could see there, you know. And you could darken like right here where her mouth is. You could just darken it a little bit. So you get, her face is, let's look at her face. She has like a little full face. She's kind of sort of like a little on the roundish side. So we'll do that. Bring this. And then bring some lights. And once you start punching these lights here with this little chalk like that, you can really see the effect of it. Let's go back to the eye. There. Like that. So you could, so they look intense. Let's do that. And then let's darken this too. Back, remember the back and forth stroke I mentioned before? You have to do that on both sides. You got to mention, I mentioned that to you. There. See? Now it's coming to life. Her nose. Let's take the magnifying again, the glass, and I look in. This is how I always do it, because sometimes if it's tiny little details, you really can't see unless you're close. So to get this effect, you have to use that magnifying glass, which I use in everything I do. The portrait of Kent, the portrait of Donald, the portrait of Screaming Eagle and Jay, always the magnifying glass. Without the magnifying glass, really, it's hard to get all these little tiny details, and there are so many details in a portrait. And you know what you also could do is, you can also, if a member of your family, they sit for you, you could play around and look at them and just try to draw them. Your daughter, you know, dog, your cat, your pet. I did a pet up there. You could do pets. Once you get the hang of this, it's pretty easy, because once you apply a technique, it's repeated. So even though if I'm drawing a dog or a person or whatever, the technique applies. And once you got the technique down, then you can do it. See, she has a nice, cute little face. And just a highlight on the nose. Always put a little bit of highlight there. Yeah. See, first I shadow in here. I shadow in there, light. This I'm doing light. I'm not doing this dark. And the reason I'm doing this, I'm going to show you just now, because once I do that, now I come with the gum eraser, and I just want to highlight that, and I want to give a light there, just to bring out the nose. So that'll kind of pop it out a little better. And then right on the side here of her face, that's a little bit dark, so you can kind of press and bring it down like that. So she has highlights. Here there's a highlight because it's the side of the face. There's a little highlight there. So you could get the dimension of the face. You could get the feel, you know, there. Her chin, this should be dark because the chin has to come out, so we're gonna kind of bring it. The more you shadow and the more you highlight and everything, the more you bring out the face. And right in her lip, right here, there's a little light you could see there. So and the nose right here, there's like a highlight there. You could see that, you know. And in here, there's a little highlight. And right above her brow, there's a little highlight. Now, what we're going to do now is I'm going to take my pencil out. Remember the back and forth motion? Now I start the back and forth motion. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And the reason I'm just repeating this back and forth is because I want to get the, oops, sorry about that. You know, I want to get the intense of the color, you know. And sometimes if you just do it once, you can't get the intensity of the color. You have to repeat it. You have to do it back and forth. That's why I keep on doing this, you know. So this is, the ribbon is here. We're going to highlight, and then right in here, there's a highlight of her hair. So let's put it in. See how nice that looks? Now you can, and there's a little extra hair coming over here. You got to put that in. You got to put everything that you see. And the ribbon, I think, comes all the way down here, I see. There. And up here, you can't see too much of a ribbon because I'm looking at it and I see it's just kind of faded out. What you can see here is this little bow here that she has. So let's go with the back and forth motion again. There. And it's repeat, repeat, repeat. So from light to this, now you can start seeing shapes. And now you can bring, now all these shapes, you got to think of abstract shapes, just shapes. Now you don't even think of hair, just think shapes. You think of hair kind of when you're coloring it or something, but when you're doing these little shapes that are popping out, all these are strands of hair. You see, make it look like hair. You just have to think of an abstract shape, and then you just blend it in like this. And she has so much hair, and it's so pretty, and it's so long. That's kind of one of her good characteristics, plus her beautiful eyes. So let's kind of look at it. Stop for a minute to look. You see how it's coming alive? Right here, there's more hair. So we're going to just do that. Lift it up a little bit. Bring that up a little bit. I see, you know. That's why sometimes you have to back up from these pictures. You know, you got to do it. You got to back up to look at it. And then you could put it into perspective, and then you could come back and you could continue. Because sometimes if you just continue without stopping, you get lost. And then that's when you start making the errors, you know. And just like I said, this is really very easy. And like I always say, I could do it, you could do it. You could do it too, you know. It's the passion and wanting to do it. If you're wanting to do it, you will do it. I always say that to myself, and it always works. And I'm sure if you say it to yourself, it'll work for you too. And you have to have that believe in yourself, and that's key, and that makes it happen. So now look at the little picture. And now I can kind of make it like intense and start bringing things out. Bring it here. She got a little thing here, a little thing here, little thing there. Lights. These are lights. There. This shirt here. This dress, part of the dress here. A little part of the dress there that's light. This comes out like that. Just like that. And her face here is very defined, so let's kind of make a reflected light there. That's a reflected light coming from there. And we could kind of make a little reflected light here, this reflected light like that, to show her, bring out this chin a little more. So you do that, you know. And then always darken. Remember what I told you before? You have to darken underneath the chin, and the reason being is because that makes the face, she has like a little bit over here of the chin that goes up. That makes it come out even more. See? And usually the light comes from the left, you know. So sometimes we can kind of, in the old masters, when the old masters painted, you know, they always put the shadow on the right side. The light was always coming. I kind of like that. It embellishes the painting. It makes it look nice. It just gives it a nice tone, you know. I really like doing that. I do that in my paintings, as you could see. Even with Kent, the right side is dark, you know. It always, and when I did the painting of the old master up there, the same thing. That's how sometimes you do that. You do like copy of replicas of old masters, and you just sharpen your skill. So that's something good to do. As an artist, it's nice to do that, because the old masters did it themselves. So why shouldn't we? They learn from the masters before them, and we learn from them, and then we pass on and people learn from us. So that's good. So it's always, like I told you before, reinventing yourself. See, now her face here, we'd put a little light over here just to bring out her shaved face. That looks a little bit nicer. And then this, like that, a little reflected light here, like that. That looks pretty nice, right? And then bring this like that, bring that, and this, and that, yeah. And now we can now I can make this very dark. I can make this dark. That's one thing, her hair is very, very dark. So we can do that. Oh, by the way, I'm working with, this is a newspaper print pad. It's just a regular drawing pad. And this is good because what I used to do, and it's very good, I'm going to pass it on to you. I used to buy this print, newspaper print pad, and I would go on the subway, and I would go on the buses, and I had nothing to do, and people kind of was sitting idle, and I would just pull out the pad, and I would kind of sketch them, you know, whatever pose they were sitting and everything, just to practice my drawing skills, you know. The way they were sitting, the way they were leaning, or, you know. So that's always that I did for many, many years. I did that. I even did it when I was at a bar. I was at a bar, and I just pulled out my pad and I just started sketching. I did it when I was having lunch places. I was sitting in a kind of a diner. Somebody was sitting there. I would do it there wherever I would go. I figured this is how you just get better, because you're practicing. And when you go to art school, I mean, you have to draw the picture once, twice, 3 times. You just rip it up and draw it again, rip it up. It's like exercise, and they do it fast. You know, and then after a while, it's kind of like tuning a guitar or a piano. You know, you tune, you loosen up, you try to get like easy with the hand so you could flow. You know, you don't, and then after you do that, and you rip them and you throw them and you rip them and you try it over and over again, now you take the one that you think, Now you start at it. And now your flow is better. So that's something else to keep in mind when you're drawing or doing artwork. You know, it's so important. And I always said, I'm no different than you, so I can do it, you can do it too. Always remember the jingle, I can do it, you can do it too. Just have to want to do it. You want to do it, you will do it. See, now I'm going to take this little, and I'm going to make a point, and I'm just going to tap right in here, just to make a little thing there, and there, just to make these eyes come out. See how pretty they look? And you know what's fun? What's fun about art is that once you do it, and you get it, and you follow these instructions that I'm giving you, you turn back and you say, did I do that? And that's what's fun. You enjoy it because you say, I didn't think I could do it, and yet you did it. You know, so that's fun. So like I said, you have to have a desire and read, and I told you this before in my shows, if you go to YouTube, you can see all the missed shows that you haven't seen. But if you read books on motivation, that's very helpful, and I do that constantly. I do that all the time. Look at all these strands of hair that she has here. You could look at this and see the hair just hanging. And here too, and then over here there's hairs like that. So it looks, now look how nice this is. This is really coming. Right here there's a little light. Let's put it there. And right here there's a little light, you know. Let's put that there too, you know. And what happens to this little picture, it gets finer and finer and finer, and you really make it very, very clear. It's almost like taking a camera when it's not in focus, and then you kind of fix the lens to it, and then after a while it gets very sharp. That's how it is with the paintings. With the paint, it gets fuzzy, and it doesn't look clear, and then after, the more you reinstate this, and the more you do this, it gets very clear. And that's the fun part. Right here, this should be dark. I just look at that and I spotted something. Yeah, this is dark, you know. Now, don't you think it's a big difference than when we started? If you look at the, oops, my picture, yeah. You know, I get so carried away with this artwork sometimes that I forget myself. I forget the time, I forget to eat, I forget about everything. I just get so involved with it. And that's good, because it's also therapeutic, so that I like that, you know? Because you don't think of anything else. Time just goes by when you're having fun. And this is fun. And wouldn't you like to do this of your daughter, or of your girlfriend or boyfriend or your wife or your pet? Wouldn't you like to just sit, and if they're sitting down, just pull out and surprise them and say, gee, I think I'm going to sketch them without them knowing it, and draw a nice sketch of them? That would be nice. See? Here's a little darkness right in here. I got to put that in because I want to pop this. I want to pop this nose out a little bit. Yeah. And then this should be. See, you know what it is? You look at this picture, and the more you look at this, the more you see things. The more you see things to fix, to correct, that you like or you don't like. That's how it is. You just keep on looking at it, and you see, and you correct it. And then you come back and you add the little fine little touches. You touch here and there, you know, that makes it even a little better, you know. Now right here under the chin, you see this? Watch this. Watch. See, now if I push this dark and I keep on darkening this right in here, what's going, and in here I darken it because this is where this hair is going underneath this earring here is dark. If I darken here, because this is all clear shadow, this shadow is there because it's coming from the hair, and then I blend it. Now just look at that. Now what happens to the face? The face comes out because the dark goes in. So light brings out, dark goes in. Here at the top of the nose, this could be a little bit darker too because this is the kind of the bridge of the nose. Not heavy dark, just light. And then you can just kind of lighten here a lot, punch that out. See what happens? Then you don't want that to show, so you got to fade it in. It's there, but it's, see? So now she has the shape of her face. There. That's the tip of her nose. Right underneath her nose, as you could see, it would be dark. So this part is always a little dark. So we can darken that. We darken in here. Yeah. Make her lips come out. Yeah. That's good. There. So that's looking better, you know. And then here you can throw in some lights. You can throw some lights in here. You would have to throw some lights because this is the part, and this hair, I just noticed something. It comes down a little further here because she has some sideburns here, so you have to put that in. You got to put that in and blend it in. So you got to, and then see, and then this goes here up to where that little bow is, you know. So see how many times I'm looking at this and over again? And here there's more here, and here there's a little more sideburns here. She has a little sideburn coming here too. Yeah, so it just takes its shape, you know. And then of course this little ribbon here, you have to bring that out, so punch that out with the lights. That's how you do it. And there. Oh, that looks better. Now, and right here, this here has to be just a little bit darker because it's lost in the little bit of shadow there from her hair. So that's how you do it. That's good. And then here you can just sharpen the line here, you know. And you could soften your lines too. Always remember that too. Soften your lines. The hair is dark, but the reflective light is right here. It's a little bit of reflected light there. So you could see that. And over here, her neck, you can soften this line. You don't want this to be too pronounced. You want it shadow, but you don't want it too pronounced. And this is her neck. This comes down. You could bring it just a little further down. And then her dress, which would be this white dress. So before a portrait, it's always the drawing that's really, really important. If you have the drawing right, you'll have the painting right. If your drawing is off, the painting is off. That's rule of thumb. That's what you have to remember. So once you get the drawing right, you know that the painting is going to be right. Because then when you start applying your paint, you're going to just do it to what you have there. Your shadows are in because it's even monochromatic in one color, and then you start putting the colors in, it's going to be good. So, I'm glad you enjoyed the show. See me again.
You can do it too. Easy as 1, 2, 3. You can do it too. Come along and draw with me. Pads and pencils, a very good start. So when you draw with your heart. You draw with your heart, 'cause you can do it too.